successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Thank you for coming to the Village of Wappinger Falls monthly meeting of the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for today, Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have received some recognition and announcements. You know, we recently had the Halloween trunk or treat. One comment there is just as an update to the Mayor and Board of Trustees that the Halloween trunk or treat event was a huge success. It is estimated that over 1,000 people attended, and it went off flawlessly. Thank you to those village board members who donated and or participated in the event. A special note of thanks to members of the Recreation Committee and PBA who co-sponsored the event. Also, thanks to both Johnson and Gardner firehouses for their participation. Events like this make the village look good, and it is good for all of us. Trustee John Tilishek. Another comment, it was a great event, a beautiful day. Well done, Trustee Nesnick.
Add the smiley face.
Yeah, and a smiley face. I have another correspondence here from the American Legion, Post 427, Village of Wappingers Falls. You are cordially invited to participate in the Veterans Day services. We'll all remember each veteran. The VFW Post 5913 and the American Legion Post 427 will hold its services to honor the veterans of the United States of America. In case of bad weather, a decision will be made at the VFW to go to the VFW Post on School Street. The service is at 11 o'clock. As you all may know, the armistice was signed 11/11/11, and that's why we have it on the 11th. Also have a letter received here from a resident praising workers of the Village of Wappingers Falls. Heather McCormick got a phone call. Heather works in the front office. She received a phone call from a resident that there were 3 feet of water in the basement of their house. Actually, she was told there were 3 inches. It turned out to be 3 feet. So he writes, yesterday morning did not start like any other. We had a tenant call at 7 a.m. and told us that the tenant above them had been showering for almost 12 hours. That doesn't sound right. So we checked the camera in the boiler room of 8 Clap and discovered we had a pipe rupture that resulted in water was about 3 feet up and 5 furnaces and 2 hot water tanks underwater. I parked at the fire department in hopes that I was getting a high-powered pump. Unfortunately, they were not open yet. Eventually, I called the town hall and made a suggestion, actually called the village hall, and made a suggestion of calling 911 and after doing that, within minutes, Fire Chief Jason Ensign and water operator John Kozak were there. The fire chief dropped off a pump and John looked around. John found the issue and proceeded to get a plug from his car so we could turn the water back on in the building. John's co-worker, Ken Cruzy, checked to make sure everything was good. He also lent John a pair of big rubber boots. They were great. John noticed the water wasn't being pumped out at a high rate, so he went and grabbed a pump from his shop. Between the 2 pumps, we were pretty dry fast. Jason came back and checked on us as well, and John was wrapping up his equipment. The plumber was there from about 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. that night and was able to save their heating system, and the tenants were only inconvenienced slightly instead of them being without water or heat for days. John went above and beyond and made a bad situation a little better, and it turned out good for all the tenants. Now they all have heat and hot water last night. Heather, John, Jason, and Ken are valuable members of your staff and the community, and we appreciate their service. Thank you, John. Thank you all. Good job.
You know, one thing, clerk Carge, to make note of is that person that got everyone in touch to do the right thing was Heather McCormick, and she went out of her way to
Right.
facilitate it, so
Yeah, she
I just
just
think that that's a great thing
did a
too.
great job, and she gets a lot of calls similar to that. So it's great. We're in receipt of a letter from Habitat of the Humanities of Dutchess County. Recently did a makeover of the basketball courts in Veterans Park in the village. They are hosting a dedication ceremony at 9 a.m. Friday morning, 11/11, at the park. We have invited the mayor and village officials to attend. That's all I have in correspondence.
I actually have something, if I could just mention. Honorable Judge Chase is going to be recognized for the Book of the Golden Deals Award this month, so I just wanted to make that's an award of a lifetime of putting his community first. So he'll be honored at a dinner this month, so I just wanted to mention that.
It'll be on the 15th, and the announcement's in the Southern Dutchess News that came out today, for those of you that want to see that. Anything else? Okay. Mayor, I'll do the roll call.
Roll call.
Mayor Sereno,
Present.
Trustee Sedati,
Here.
Trustee Lauricella,
Here.
Trustee Telesak,
Here.
Trustee Huber,
Present.
Trustee Ruffin,
Here.
Trustee Nesnick,
Here.
Village Attorney Wallace.
Here.
Action on minutes, October 5th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mayor votes aye.
October 12th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I wasn't here.
Can I have a second?
I'll make the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
October 26th.
I'll make the
Mayor votes
motion.
aye.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Authorization to pay bills as per approved warrant.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second to pay the bills?
They were not entered when I came today, so I was unable to sign them, so I can't.
Well, there was a large group of them that were entered.
I was able to sign,
What-
A through G that were
When-
done.
I'm not looking for approval for the entire batch, just those that were entered when you came in today.
Yep, then I'll second that.
Okay.
Yeah, because there were two folders.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
We have a continuation of a hearing for the code changes, and we have not heard back from the county yet. That's ongoing. Once we hear back from them, and it goes back to the team for the code changes to review, make the reviews, and they go back and forth till everything's worked out, we're gonna keep the hearing open. Okay, resolution number 24, 2022, resolution appointing police commissioner. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that.
I'll make a motion,
I'll second.
I would like to say something beforehand.
I got a motion open. I got a motion open. Mayor?
Yeah.
Wait a second, we haven't even read it yet. We have a motion open? Can we read it before that?
There was a motion made and seconded, okay, so who's,
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah. And then, so, who made a motion, Kevin?
I have trustee Lauricella, seconded by trustee Sedati.
Wow. Very, very, very conveniently timed. I would like to talk about this. I would like to talk about this, and I would like to talk about it now.
you'll
So-
get your 3 minutes.
Okay, so first of all, I'm pretty sure before we make a motion on anything, we would read the resolution and then make a motion to accept it. Okay?
It was sent to us.
I sent the agenda out today. And
So just so you know, the public, what happened here, we advertised for a position for a police commissioner. We advertised for that back in the end of September, and we were taking applications until the beginning of October. Okay? We received multiple applications, multiple good applications, all right? Trying to set up interviews for these applicants to come in. And in the meantime, what happened was certain board members on this board decided to take it upon themselves to go behind the personnel committee's back and the rest of the board's back and put somebody up for hire without even doing an interview. Okay? So we sit here and we preach about transparency. We talk about transparency, we talk about it online, about our transparency online, how that's all we're up for, that's what we run on, that's what we knock on doors for, and this is what you get in return. So just so you know, we conducted 3 certain board members who wanted to interview the people that applied for the job that we posted. We did 3 excellent interviews yesterday. And what you're getting today is a quick hurry, I'll make that motion, so that no one else can speak and no one else can, that's their way of passing it through. So that's what you're getting, Mr. Taxpayer, Mrs. Taxpayer. That's what you get, that's the process that was taking place. That's what happened when we had our own personal lawyer interviewing people in diners. And over the weekend, we were taking people that didn't even
This seems
apply,
like a slanderous statement. That's
for this job
Excuse me,
to
you're out-
trustees'
you're out
houses.
of
So
order.
just so you know, that was the process for this hire.
You
I
are
wanted
out
you to know
of
that.
order.
I'm done.
You
No, this hire was not interviewed.
You have made a few erroneous statements.
Yeah, well, which ones?
Tell her, Mayor.
One, the attorney was not interviewing these people.
Okay.
I asked the attorney personally to come to the first meeting at a diner
Well, you should have asked the
for legal
trustees.
opinion in case it was needed. I had the deputy mayor come with me, and
that was it. There was no other board
There was a
member,
4th person here, and it was Walter Burke.
but no other board member.
No other board member. So it wasn't as if this was behind in a secret meeting.
Well, did you tell the personnel committee about it? Did you tell anybody else on the board about it? Well, you have a personnel committee for a reason. You have a personnel committee for a reason.
Can I
Why
speak
would
to
you
that?
not share that information with anybody else on the board? We have advertised for a position that we want to interview candidates for.
And just because you advertise for a position and get a 3 or 4, 2 or 3, whatever the number is of resumes,
5 or 6.
okay, doesn't mean you immediately go out and do an interview on them.
We didn't immediately.
Did
go
you
after that.
consult with the police committee to see if that was their
I
intent?
called, the police committee is actually the personnel committee, and the police personnel committee refused to attend.
Actually,
the
I can
meeting.
speak to that, and I have it in writing. I said, what is the meeting regarding? I had another meeting.
Right.
You said it was about practices and hiring procedures.
Right.
That is not what you had the meeting about.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we had the meeting about. We had the meeting about that we were going to, that this is how we were going to go about hiring this person.
Let me ask
That's
you one
exactly
other
what it was
question.
about.
So what is the difference between your summertime meeting that you had interviewing another commissioner at the time
Excuse me.
that was unsanctioned,
Potential.
potential commissioner, that was unsanctioned, that nobody was involved in, that the mayor wasn't involved in? What is the
Well,
difference?
first, there's a big difference because we met somebody with no promise for a job in any way. The mayor was very aware of the meeting. The mayor was very,
After
very
the
aware
fact,
of the
I
meeting.
believe.
No, that's not true at all. That is absolutely not true. Mayor, is that true?
I believe she did tell me.
I absolutely.
Okay, I
told him.
stand
So that's
corrected.
the- So that's the
Well, the
difference.
rest of the board didn't know.
That's the difference. The rest of half the board was with us. And then you weren't for it,
Half the
Kevin.
board was with you, so you had a quorum?
No.
private meeting, you had a
absolutely
quorum?
not.
If half the
Absolutely
board
not.
was
We
there.
did not.
This is what I'll say. We wouldn't be in this position had we been given very pertinent information involving biases that may be held by you for very specific reasons.
And
that
who
I-
were you given that information from?
I'm gonna caution everybody.
Who were you given, let him answer the
Wait,
question.
wait,
Who were you
wait.
given that information from? I'd love to hear the
Trustee
answer.
Caution
Niznik.
everybody, because I do
Let him
not want you
answer.
to breach attorney-client privilege.
What, the
I
gag
think
order?
that-
Let him answer.
I think that this discussion should be for executive session.
That's fine, I respect that.
It's not even about the person, it's about the process. It's not about the person.
We had a flawed process
You
at the
made it
last
flawed process.
appointment. No.
Yeah, no, you-
And in fact, nobody interviewed the last candidate you put up when our previous commissioner that had to resign for other issues, he was never interviewed by anyone.
Which
So
one are you
that
referring to?
Commissioner Ferry was not interviewed.
So there are 2 times when I was asked to go to meetings, and that was the last time, I think we were on the same email, where
sure he was in there.
trustee Niznik said,
He wasn't interviewed.
I want to call a meeting of the personnel department, and I just said, okay.
Yeah, and I had another meeting. I said I couldn't. Please fill me in an email.
Fair enough.
But what is it regarding? It was hiring practices and procedures. If it was, I would like to have a meeting about hiring a police commissioner, that's what you would say. You wouldn't say it's about hiring practices and procedures. That's something different. I said, okay.
I think we need to table this.
No, well, there's a motion, and I think we need to vote for it.
I'd like to speak, if I may. I believe I hold a unique position today in being the only one who was there to interview all of the candidates who applied for this position, prior to 2 who came in later, who we have not interviewed at all. There were several people who were very qualified. I believe trustee Larissella is correct when he says this was a flawed process from the beginning. This is not how we
I didn't
should do
say
it.
that.
Then I stand corrected, I apologize. But I think we should have had a better process. That's on us. But the people of the village expect us to do our job and to vote and to fill the positions that are open. We need to do better going forward. We should not be up here having this discussion.
I agree.
We should have done, this should have been resolved prior, but now we're here.
Yes, it should be fair for everybody who applied.
This is a mischaracterization.
Mischaracterization.
Look,
Correct, Jen.
hold on. So the
When you go behind the rest of the board's back and create deals with people without letting 4 of the trustees know.
Excuse me,
This one here.
we are not going to
Those 3 down there didn't know
Recreate.
what was going on.
the course of events. I think we've agreed,
They didn't know what was going on with it.
I think we've agreed that the process was probably a bit flawed. Be that as it may, we had a meeting at a diner with trustee Huber, myself, a candidate, and an attorney who was there for legal advice. We had another meeting with the attorney, myself, trustee Tilichek, and Mr. Walter Burke, because John wanted to meet him.
Mayor, was there,
At my request, I appeased trustee Tilichek. To that end, we had some interviews, we had some candidates that were going to be interviewed. Now, whether or not the board recognizes this candidate as police commissioner, I deal directly with this person on a day-to-day basis. And it is my job to get the most highly qualified person for this position. And that's why I selected Mr. Burke.
So why wouldn't you interview other people that apply? How do you know that you have the most qualified person for the job if you refuse to interview anybody else?
I determined, based on resumes, who had the best qualifications and credentials.
Are you telling
and
me
had
that the
most-
people-
I don't think that you really should be talking about
And-
that type of, this.
But that's my reason. And so,
No, but your reason was you were sure it was a mayoral appointment,
talking
and then when
about
it's
reasons.
not, then the board hires, then I don't know.
I'm
what
a member
happened.
of the
You get
board, and
Emails
But you're
back
not
and
the only
forth.
member of the
This is like getting whiplash from emails and text messages, and we're doing interviews.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Doing interviews. It was
Excuse me,
ridiculous.
Mayor. Can I chime in here?
sure, you'll get your 2 minutes.
I don't need 2 minutes. I only need a minute. You said you had Walter Burke's resume, and the rest of the board got it this afternoon at 1:30,
1:30.
or 1:30.
So you don't think that he could have got it when he met with
Well,
him
I mean,
several times, or that
if-
he was a previous police commissioner here? So let's stop with the games. If you people don't want to see that we have a valuable police officer that we can put in this position that can seamlessly run the department right now when we need them, then make your decision in a vote.
What we
All this is
wanted
about.
was the process of interviewing, well, that's what we wanted. We wanted the fairness, the transparency.
It wasn't fair until I told the other 3 trustees.
We didn't even know that you
Or two
hired
trustees.
somebody. Didn't even know that you hired somebody and was drafting a resolution until you told me on the phone Friday by
You haven't
accident.
hired anyone yet?
And we were all under the assumption that this was a mayoral appointment, like it always has been past practice here, that that's how it's been done. So that's how this conversation started, that's how we moved forward, and that's how it landed where it is right
The
now.
only reason why we are,
It was a mayoral appointment when we all agreed as a board to put it in the paper and advertise and get in applications so that we can review them and go over them.
You know why it was put in, actually? Because I was in the office and I was told, actually, 2 of the trustees have said, don't put it in.
That is
We
a
already.
lie. That is a lie.
Okay, it's a lie?
That is
We've-
a lie.
So I'm lying that this was.
Why would anybody say don't put it in?
We've already got somebody. I said, well, if that's the
That is,
case, we
that
should
is so
definitely
untrue.
put it in.
That's not true. That's a convenient thing to say. That is a lie and it's not
Well,
true.
I don't appreciate that. I am
That is
certainly not
true.
lying.
And whoever
I-
told you that, it's not true.
Well, that may be, but
and the
I'm not
only-
lying that that
and
was told to
the only
me.
reason we are following this board vote is there is one case on record that has said that it probably is a board vote, of which I'm a member of the board and I can vote accordingly. And so I made my decision to select Mr. Burke after reviewing all the applications. And take a look at him. He stands, the second person in order isn't even close.
I do not
Okay.
agree with you on
Okay,
that.
okay, and you are entitled to your opinion. You're not entitled to your facts.
Mayor, there's a motion on the floor.
Yes, there is a motion on the floor.
Now, you want me to read the whole thing, I will. The following resolution,
I think you should.
okay.
So do we make a motion after or before? How
You
does
get-
that work?
The way it works is, the resolution gets introduced and seconded. You have a chance to do a roll call vote at the very end. It's 3 pages, folks.
That's okay.
All right. Resolution number 24, 2022 of 2022, resolution appointing police commissioner of the Village of Wappingers Falls Police Department. The following resolution was introduced by trustee Lauricella and seconded by trustee Sadati. Whereas the position of police commissioner of the Village of Wappingers Falls Police Department is currently vacant due to the resignation of the former police commissioner, and whereas the mayor and the village board of trustees desire to fill that position of police commissioner. And whereas the mayor and the village board has determined that Walter Burke has demonstrated possession of the necessary education, skills, training, and experience to effectively fulfill the duties of police commissioner. And whereas the mayor and the village board agrees to appoint Walter Burke to the position of police commissioner on the following terms and conditions. The effective date is, I didn't get that yet,
We will determine it after.
TBD. The police commissioner's appointment is at will and may be terminated at any time and for any reason. C, the annual salary for the position of police commissioner shall be $45,000. Said salary will be payable in equal weekly installments and shall run concurrently with the Village of Wappingers Falls employee payroll. Salary shall be subject to withholding and other applicable taxes. D, the police commissioner will work a minimum of 20 hours per week. There shall be no maximum number of hours of work per week. The police commissioner is not entitled to earn, accrue, or be paid for overtime or compensatory time. Such work may be conducted either at police headquarters or at a remote location suited for such administrative duties. Training, meetings, and other job-related assignments may be included in this 20-hour period minimum. The police commissioner will be available for call back or contact during any hours which he is not regularly employed at his full-time place of employment. What's this?
When you get to F,
When you get
add this line.
Okay. Unless he has been notified by a police dispatcher, other supervisory staff, and the village clerk that he is on scheduled leave for vacation, personal time, or is on sick leave. This schedule may include weekends and holidays. E, the police commissioner will be provided with an office at police headquarters suitable to hold private counseling sessions, maintain administrative paperwork, and security of administrative files. Such office will have a minimum, a desk, a chair, and a computer. Standard office equipment will be provided through the police budget. The police commissioner will be issued a cellular phone to be paid for by the village to conduct police business and maintain communications with, but not limited to, the department, employees, and members of the village government. The police commissioner will be provided with a laptop computer to include all necessary software relative to his duties, to include any air card or wireless device to remotely access the police department computer system. This computer and associated software are the property of the village and must be returned to the village upon termination of contract. The police commissioner will be assigned a designated portable police radio for contact and communications with the police dispatcher and other police units. The police commissioner will be provided with a police car equipped with an Easy Pass at the village's expense. The police commissioner shall report directly to the mayor. F, for the purpose of this section, benefit time shall include personal time, vacation time, and sick leave. For the purpose of this section, a leave or sick day shall be computed on a 20-hour week. 4 hours equal 1 day, consistent with the relevant provisions of the village PBA collective bargaining agreement. All leave time will be taken consistent with the relevant provision in the village PBA collective bargaining agreement, except that references to the police commissioner will be replaced by the mayor. However, the police commissioner is not a member subject to the CBA. That's a collective bargaining unit. And the village is not bound by the persons therein with respect to this appointment. The CBA is referred herein for convenience only. Personal leave, 3 days, vacation leave, 5 weeks and 2 days, sick leave, 1 week. Note, personal leave, vacation leave, and sick leave are computed on a 20-hour week, 4 hours equal 1 day. Absent catastrophic injury or illness, no more than 2 consecutive weeks of any or all types of leave may be taken. There will be no accrual or carryover of unused leave time from fiscal year to fiscal year. G, the police commissioner shall maintain a commissioner's log. This shall document total number of actual work hours of the police commissioner, or, if the police commissioner takes leave time, the type and duration of the leave. Such log shall be maintained by the commissioner with a copy file weekly with the village clerk. The police commissioner shall submit a timesheet no less than 20 hours per week directly to the village treasurer, along with the department time records for payroll. H, police commissioner will be provided with the following items. 1 police badge stating commissioner. 1 duty holster. 1 plainclothes style holster. 1 pepper spray. 1 set of handcuffs. 1 handcuff case. 1 department issued duty firearm. 3 magazines. 1 magazine pouch. Sundry items. Such items shall be provided for by voucher as a one-time initial outfit. In addition, the police commissioner will be provided with a total of $800,000 or $800 for administrative plain clothes, business attire, and upkeep payable to the first pay period in June. Additional items as needed to apprehend or assist with apprehension in the course of performing police duties. There will be no health benefits provided. J, this resolution sets forth all the terms and conditions of employment for the police commissioner. Now therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the village board hereby appoints Walter Burke to the position of police commissioner on the terms and conditions noted above. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Roll call vote. Trustee Huber.
Nay, and my reason is because it wasn't
Trustee-
brought to the board's attention properly.
Trustee Sadati.
Aye.
Trustee Nesnick.
Nay.
Trustee Ruffin.
Nay, and because this is $10,000 more than the other applicants that said they wanted, who actually applied.
Trustee Telesak.
Aye, because I believe it's our duty to fill the position for the village residents.
Trustee Lauricella.
Aye.
Mayor Sereno.
Aye.
Carried.
Can I say something?
Trustee Lauricella would like to make a statement.
Before you do, I just want to fill in the one blank. I don't know how much time you need, but if we could get a date from you when we could be able to start, maybe the first week in December.
I can do it sooner than that if you'd want.
Pardon?
I can start sooner than that if you'd like.
Okay.
You can call me with your start date,
I'll call you
and I'll get
tomorrow.
it out to the board.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Trustee Lauricella?
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick statement that, Mr. Burke is a 45-year police veteran. He holds multiple degrees and certificates and advanced degrees in law enforcement and public administration. And I think that the board, in my opinion, owes Mr. Burke an apology, and I know that I do, because certain important information had been omitted at the time of your reappointment. Had I known certain things, my decision would have been different. So I appreciate your willingness to take the olive branch. And I personally, sir, apologize for my poor decision at the time of your reappointment in April of 2021. And I hope that in the future, when it is your time to do it, you do it on your terms, and it's a better experience for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So noted.
I am in receipt of a letter of approval for approval for a run that's named Pete Sanfilippo Memorial Run. I got it from his son. The run is December 3rd, 2022. The adults are it's a 5-mile run, and the kids, it's a 1-mile run. Can I have approval?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Can I
second
have a
it.
second?
There's a second by trustee Tilicek.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Carried. Approval for an internal grease trap Zion Episcopal Church. Per village code, all grease traps are to be located outside the building. Zion is requesting a waiver to this requirement from the village board to provide the grease trap within the structure as per Alfred Capelli Jr. Engineer's report dated 11/8/22. I would also like to draw your attention to a letter I received today from our village engineer supporting that waiver. Can I have a motion to approve the waiver?
I will make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye.
Just, I want to remind you that it may be spontaneously inspected by the building department anytime. You would be required to make sure that you routinely check it. Okay, congratulations for that, and I think that's great that you're able to pick that Meals on Wheels up from the closing Presbyterian Church. They are moving that over to the Zion Church, and I think that's a huge undertaking. It's really great for humanity. Thank you for that. Okay. Approval to hire Jason Ensign as full-time laborer in the Village Water Department, Civil Service position number 155.
I request that this issue be tabled from this meeting. I received a call from Water Commissioner Smith that he would like us to consider it after the next Water Board meeting.
Did you say why?
Well, yes, he did. There is some personal issues involved in this, and plus, we have to resolve the civil service requirements.
Gotcha.
Do we want to,
Insight to that? Can you speak to that at all? Or?
I don't think you should talk
I'm gonna
about
do.
employment
Gotcha.
issues in open meeting.
We can talk about it in executive session.
What's that? Bro?
We can talk about it in executive session.
Okay.
so we're going to table that to today's executive session, or to?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well, are you going to reconsider at a future date, or you
No, I
just
think there needs-
indefinitely?
We'll follow what Chairman Smith wants, and we'll hopefully he'll have some discussions.
He's not the chairman, right?
Not the chairman, and I didn't hear any of this, so.
Well, he called me up at like 10 after 6. Okay, so he requested that we table this until the next Water Board meeting.
So that will be December
Is it an emergency meeting or?
14th. December
It's
14th.
the normal meeting, Trustee Hubert.
Table to 12/14/22.
I would like to discuss this in executive session. I just would like to know some more information as to why. Thank you.
So we're
And
going to,
I'd actually like, if he would, I would like to invite this,
I don't know anything about it.
but you were on the water board, so I'd like you to participate in the conversation if you don't mind.
Adam,
Depends
that's
on-
not.
No?
acceptable.
Okay,
It was attorney-client privilege.
sorry.
okay,
Why, you should just do away with the water board and, like I said, let these two guys.
Can I ask when this all, I'm not even saying I'm for or against it, but I didn't even know about it.
We brought it up at the water board meeting.
Didn't even
We
know
talked
about it.
We talked about it at the water board meeting, because we have an employee retiring next month, and we're looking to fill a spot.
And they'll need more training.
This was the water board's recommendation. There was 2 applicants. We hired the last applicant a month ago. Was it last month? Mm-hmm. And
He's
Jason
working
was,
out.
Jason was the second one.
The water board can only make a recommendation.
Water board can't do anything. Or pay bills,
So not every.
do away with it.
Table to,
We brought it up.
what's
Not
that,
every trustee
what's that date?
No, not every trustee knew
Oh,
about
they
it,
wanna
just like
do
I
it
was
in
lied to
executive
today.
session now.
Just like I was lied to today.
Discussion. They want discussion.
can I have a motion to table this item to December 14th? No? Can I have a motion to table it to the executive session today?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor votes aye.
Okay, that's tabled to later, today. Discussion highway superintendent interviews. Trustee Nesnick.
Well, we're in need of a highway superintendent. We advertised for the position, and if somebody hasn't already hired somebody that I know about, maybe we can have some interviews and pick a qualified candidate. We have quite a few interviews here, applications here, 5 or 6. We went over them the other day. We have identified 3 that we would like to start with interviews. So I just wanted to bring that up to the board. If we could, I will make those arrangements to call them in for an interview. It was also brought to my attention and suggested that we invite our new engineer, Todd, to the interview, so that he could help and aid us and give his recommendation as well.
I will suggest that the committee to do the interviews initially will be Personnel Chair Loricella, Trustee Niznik, and I will sit in, and anybody else who wants to sit in can be in the doorway.
Can I
We don't
also,
have a quorum.
can I also recommend,
With the engineer and our present highway superintendent, and perhaps if he wants to make some time to do these interviews, highway foreman, and I think I'm missing one other person.
Mayor,
Mayor,
real quick,
can I just make one statement about open meetings law? I mean, you can have more than a quorum, but they can't be in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could stagger interviews if it would be, if other, trustees want to participate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could just, two things. Mr. Tommy Polakowski, the foreman, has expressed interest in wanting to be
Fine.
a participant. I think it's imperative if Mr. Podgy would allow us to. Apparently, John Kosak would also like to sit in, so he'll be an asset. But I did invite Todd Atkinson to be my guest tonight to just kind of tell the board kind of ways in which he can help us facilitate identifying proper candidate.
I have a question.
Would you like to be part of it?
You want to include employees in interviews, but what you have a water board that's looking to hire people, and we can't sit in executive and talk about it. What sense does that make?
No, that's not necessarily true. When we end the meeting and we go to
Did you
executive
just say not to do it?
the board can invite anybody they want to sit in
Did you
executive.
just say that not to do that with me as a board member, water board member?
If you're invited.
So I'm the labor and employment attorney.
Yeah.
If they're discussing any type of personnel issues that are sensitive, then we should not have an employee at least in that portion of the executive session.
I've had enough of this place. 25 years, it ain't changed, it's all still bullshit.
So if Mr. Atkinson would be so kind.
No, please.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Well, all right. What I would like to know is if we can here, while we're all sitting here together, define the process that this is going to follow. So, have we closed accepting applications at this time, or are we still accepting applications?
We have,
I hope we haven't closed them, but
Okay, so
perhaps
now
we
you're
have.
saying we haven't closed it, and you're saying we
well,
have.
nothing else has come in. We had a date in the paper. The date is come and gone.
Perhaps it may be, guys, that we may have to reopen it up. It really depends. We cannot just decide, in my opinion, and it could be wrong, to just, I would like to hear from someone who's much more capable and experienced than most of us up here, but I would say I don't think it makes sense to just be required to hire from a pool of people. Maybe there is the right fit in that application pool. Or we might have to say, hey, we got to open it back up, and maybe we'll get some more eyeballs. Maybe we put it on Indeed or on the internet. Jen mentioned Indeed.
That's fine, but
before.
I think that the first thing we have to do is give the shot to the people who actually
I don't disagree.
apply for the job.
I'm not in disagreement.
No,
I'm
think
just
there's a
saying.
disagreement.
Can we say,
I said,
excuse me,
apparently there is a disagreement
Can we
with that action.
pardon me?
When
Can we say
December 2nd?
that we are going to interview the existing applicants? If none of them meet our criteria, then we will look to anybody who comes in after this date.
I would say you'd want to re-advertise.
Right.
Currently.
If none of the people that we currently interview are deemed viable for the position, then we advertise again with a new closing date and repeat the whole process, not just a rolling ball. We start, stop.
Right.
So then they will be interviewed by, you said we have a number of interviews, you said that you looked at.
We have applicants. We have
Applicants,
nothing
I'm sorry,
set up
applicants,
yet.
I apologize. We have 3 people that are going to be interviewed, is that correct?
I have identified 3 people I think should be interviewed. Everybody else should take a look at these applications.
Okay, and then that goes, those people who are identified will be interviewed, and then what happens? Just for my own edification, what's the process?
Well, personally, where I would like to start is to hear what our engineer, how he can serve the people of the village and the board as an expert in what he does to help us identify. That's going to continue to be what I think, and I will be basing my decision off what he is telling us.
Okay.
Not with candidates, but how he can assist us. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. This is how I feel like this is a good place to start.
Yes. So we put out in the paper, I think it was around the beginning of October, that a 28th of October deadline was due with a job description for the highway superintendent or DPW superintendent for the village of Wappingers Falls. We received, I believe it was 5 applications that came in on time within the date. We received those 5 applications from the village clerk. What we should do at this time, and I think you probably already started doing that, is put together a committee or a team of say 5 people that are going to look at those 5 applications. They're going to say, okay, does each one of these people meet the minimum requirements that we have listed? If they do, then we probably look at them individually and we say, okay, here's how I rank these 5 people, each person. Say there's 5 people on the committee. I have 1 through 5, 1 through 5, 1 through 5, and we determine that, okay, there's 3 people that stand out, as you just mentioned might be the case. I already looked at them, and I also agree there's 3 people that probably stand out and should be interviewed. I don't know if they're the same 3 people that everybody else sees, but probably, yes. There's one that doesn't really meet the requirements in my mind. There was another that was kind of questionable, and then there's 3 that clearly have DPW type experience, whether it be in the county or one of the local surrounding municipalities. So from that point, I think that we bring them in and you do interviews. I think you could do interviews with just those 5 members as long as you don't have a quorum, and you can also have a secondary interview. You can go from room to room, as the village attorney mentioned, where you can have any other board members that would like to interview the person can do that as well. One of the things that's going to come into consideration is you're going to end up with, say out of those 3, you end up with 1 or 2 that actually you feel are a good fit. There's going to be different things that are involved there because we left this open-ended. We didn't say what the salary was going to be. We didn't say what any of the actual job expectations or pay, vacation, any of that stuff. So you might have some people that are on there that say, if we say this is what we're expecting to pay, they might say that doesn't work for me. So that might eliminate somebody. That might eliminate everybody. And now you're right back to square one. But I think we got to do the due diligence. We have to do it very timely, though, because the current DPW PPAGI is actually done on December 2nd. So it would be in great earnest for us to get going on this, next week, possibly get interviews done and moving forward.
I absolutely think that's a great process. If we find somebody through that process who we feel is capable, then that we would decide whether we're going to make an offer. Somebody makes an offer. If they don't accept it, we restart. If they do accept it, we approve them. Is that the way it is?
That's the way it should be, yes.
It's the mayor's appointment.
Well, I'll get a recommendation.
Right.
Okay.
No,
So they would, let me correct myself. The committee would make the recommendation to the mayor. The mayor may choose to pass that along to the board.
And I would say, I mean, obviously you probably already all know this, and we're getting in that time of year when we start getting into snow, fall, and whatnot, so it's becoming a very critical point right now to make a decision moving forward. If that means, though, that we don't find the right candidate this time and we have to put it back out, that's we'll have to do it. But we have to move fast. I think we need to have this scheduled sometime next week for interviews, and we need to get a recommendation potentially by the next board meeting, which is only 2 weeks from now, right? So, and when it comes down to it, that's going to be very hard to do. But I think that's something that should happen so that there could be, if someone's selected and they accept the position, they can at least get a week's worth of time with the current director before they leave, and then get some time, in the military we call it RIPTOA, where you transfer of authority from one person to another. So that's what they really need to have established. But I think that this would be the most transparent way of going about things, and when it comes down to it, I think it's something we could do within the next 7 days.
Actually, the next meeting is in 3 weeks because
Thanksgiving?
November has 5 Wednesdays, so it would be,
What day is that? 30, yeah, but he leaves on the 2nd, so,
I realize.
yeah. Okay.
That's why this was actually our priority.
Yes.
But we were required to focus our attention on another department that had been resolved.
Right now, you're running into the time of the year where this is a critical appointment because of the responsibility that position holds, through the winter months. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Look, we'll get something done with Trustee Niznik and the mayor and Mr. Podgy and everybody else next week.
That concludes the printed portion of the agenda. You have several items in executive session to talk about. You have pending litigation matter, a change order from Contact, who did Route 9 sewer, and you just tabled the hire in the water department to executive session also. Mayor, is there any other thing before you go into executive session?
I don't have anything unless the board has any other item.
Very
got one.
quickly before you go in.
I have one, and maybe, I don't know, I'm speaking out of term and it's not on the agenda. Am I allowed to go this route, Mayor?
Yeah, but I forgot something. Before you do that,
Sure, go ahead.
is there anything on the police report from the police
yeah.
committee? Okay. Finance committee, anything there? Trustee Lewis?
Just that we've added Dora Panagopoulos as our new treasurer. She's fitting in nicely. She's working hard to get things flowing. We really owe a debt of gratitude toward Jessica McMahon for coming in and getting us through these trying times, and she's going to start passing it off to Dora, but the village as a whole would have been in rough shape had she not come to our aid. So in spite of all of our differences, I really appreciate Jessica McMahon, and I just wanted to say that publicly.
I think all the board members share that, or most of the board members.
Highway department, trustee Sadati.
Currently, the highway department's out with the leaf vac, cleaning up the leaves, and they just, today they had a report to the Vets Park because there was some graffiti and they painted over the building to get that cleaned up for use, and that's pretty much it for now.
Fire and Lake, trustee Huber.
So for the fire department, we had 33 calls for the month of October. Both firehouses they're going to have elections in December for new chiefs and officers. In Lake, if it's all right, if I reach out to Raul and Lori Java to come to the workshop meeting to talk about the biochar socks.
Just
Yeah,
put it on the
definitely.
agenda.
They'll fill us in on that.
Like on the data that they collect?
Yeah, the data and all that stuff.
Cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let them know. I'll email Raul and Lori. Give them a call. Thank you.
We, on safety, I'm the safety manager for the village, and we've started this year's annual requirement for sexual harassment, workplace violence mandatory training. We had a consultant come down from PERMA in Albany. He met with not as many employees as I would have liked, but those who were unable to attend can take it online. I have all the information on how you can do that, and that goes for all full-time and part-time employees. Recreation, trustee Telisek.
This Friday, Veterans Day, Habitat for Humanity will be formally dedicating the redone basketball court at Vets Field at 9 a.m. Everyone is invited to that. I would like to extend my thanks to Trustee Sidoti for working with the Highway Department to get that graffiti cleaned up, because we have a nice new clean basketball court and it wouldn't look good to have that graffiti still there, so thank you, sir. We are working on the holiday celebration on November 26th, which will involve a parade and lighting of the holiday tree. We're also working at the decorating of Main Street with holiday wreaths and removing for the winter season the veterans banners.
Very good. Water Department, any issues there, Mayor?
I'll let trustee Huber, if he wants to talk about it. We had our water board meeting.
Well, we had our water board meeting, and we talked about Jason, bring him on board, and,
No issues, correct.
yep, and we talked about, Prospect and Mizzier, and we were waiting on how much money we have in our, funds, to see if we can fund it, then maybe go out, maybe to ban it, so we can pay back the funds. We could do it that way, and
Okay. Personnel Trustee Nesnick.
Oh, I think we've said enough about personnel tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Sewer, Mayor, or Highway.
I will need someone from the board for January, February, March to attend a tri-municipal meeting because our second sewer commissioner will be in Florida.
I'll take one of the months, Mayor.
I'll take one. You had already talked to me about it, so. unless
So
you're
it's,
mad at me.
January, February, March. Just tell me which one.
I'll take January.
Okay, so trustee Niznik has January, Kevin?
I'll try for February.
Okay, so it's the first Thursday of the month at the sewer plant off of Chief Road.
Yep.
Does trustee Niznik know exactly where?
I believe I do, yeah, on
Okay.
Chief Road.
Yeah,
Oh,
and-
when is it?
January, February, March.
I know, but what days?
They're Thursdays, the first Thursday, unless the month runs where the first or the second is on that date. They don't have enough time to process the bills and checks and whatever, and then they push it back a little bit. But generally speaking, 99% of the time, it's the first Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. at the sewer plant.
I'll do March if you can't get anyone else.
Okay.
Okay, Kevin, you wanted to say something before executive?
Yes, well, I think Todd's here, he can help me out in this one too. So this afternoon, come home from work, always drive around the village to check things out, and I was driving up Church Street, and I got stopped by one of the residents about the holes, and there's gonna be, I guess there's gonna be some written complaints, so I'd like to stop it before it gets here.
Talking about the metal plates?
Yeah, the metal plates. So I stopped off and talked to Anthony from West Main Loft. He filled me in, and maybe Todd can help me out even better of when we're gonna start blacktopping. I guess we're waiting on something.
They're waiting for the Dutchess County Health Department's approval for the new line that's going into the West Main Lofts.
Yep.
The original design was to take it up into the parking lot of West Main Lofts and across, but they hit massive amount of rock. And what they decided to do is come back. They got planning board approval to allow it to go actually through was it the Hog?
Yeah,
This
the Hog.
parking lot going across. So there's easements that were being established. I believe Lisa Cobb from Craig's office reviewed those easements. I believe those are in line now. So we were just waiting for those to get confirmed. I'm going to confirm that in the morning, and if that's all taken care of, then we'll notify Dutchess County Department of Health, and they'll issue the permit so that the contractor can get out there, run that line into the building, and then get the road put back into place.
Great.
So it's going to be. It's going to have to be done quick, because we're going to get to a point where we're not going to be able to get blacktop in. That's going to be an issue.
The easements were approved, you just need to make sure the easements are on the maps, and noted on the maps.
That's, yep.
Yeah, as bills.
Yeah, so that was what the holdup was. The county's been holding up, waiting for us to say that we're okay with going through the Hog instead of the West Main Lofts parking lot.
All right, I thank you, and Church Street.
Thank you so much.
Church Street thanks you.
Yeah.
If there aren't any other items, can I have a motion to go into the executive session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right now.
Opposed?
Mayor votes aye.
Todd, can you just
Carried.
show these?
Sure.